Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. So happy to be here on this Thursday, and it's bright and sunny as you can see, shining through my window onto the table. Just gonna cut the cards just a little bit, and we'll get right into it. All right. Let's see here. Let's check the bottom. All right, Knight of Wands, oil from my hands. Knight of Wands is someone who is, well, it could be an offer or, yeah, more or less it's an offer or some energy emerging. The Knight of Wands is definitely someone that can be ambitious, sometimes overly so. You know, the Knight of Wands is kind of teeter-tottering on this or that. It could either be just enough, well, I should say it could either be not enough or too much. So he could be too ambitious or not dependable or stable enough. You know, more or less the idea would be to have some balance in between the two, but for the most part, that's why the Knights, particularly the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords, are a bit unpredictable, and so therefore a little bit undependable or independable, is that the word? Because you kind of never know what you're going to get. It just depends on how advanced, mature, evolved the energy is and what the intention and motivation may be. So we'll keep him in mind, Knight of Wands, on what his presence indicates. Knight of Wands, okay? Oh, well. Tower, all right, and somebody walking away. Oh, a Knight of Wands. I just got like this person caused the tower and then like left destruction in his wake. You know what I mean? So, but the Eight of Cups in its own regard is not a bad card. This is somebody that has the courage to leave a long-term investment and journey into some new possibility. So perhaps the tower is what compelled this walk away. But I'm getting that perhaps that Knight of Wands has something to do with this tower. Because, you know, the Knights, not for nothing, are definitely warriors. So they're fierce and, you know, they pack a certain aggression, all of them in some way, shape, or form, with their presence. With it being this fire energy coming out of the tower, then of course the firepower of them all is definitely the most physically aggressive and perhaps even destructive at times. So the Knight of Wands would be the one that would set a tower ablaze and ride off into the sunset for sure. If any of them, it would be him. So let's keep going to see. My goodness. Oh, okay. And we got the Ten of Cups. Let's see what else. And that was the Page of Pentacles. Now that's the Knight that's the most dependable, the one that you can more or less trust what he's offering in some regard. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's the most expansive offer, the most, I guess, it is matured, but it might be small in scale or by measure. But one thing about it is that it's dependable because this Knight more or less works hard on the offers that he makes before he makes them. He's one that's very insistent about having something of value to bring to the table, as a pentacle would be. So his intention and motivation behind the offer is usually more valuable even perhaps than what he has in his hand. But with that type of ambition, assertiveness, and stability, you can more or less have a futuristic projection that what he's bringing to the table holistically might be something that you can depend on. It might be stable because if he has the mentality to grow from that point. You know, so there's that. I don't know why I said all that. I've never said all that about the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, but let's see. But that with the, maybe with the Ten of Cups. Let me get one more. Because the Ten of Cups is like wish fulfillment, it's family. And here is this again, walking away. Let's bring all these into the same row. Should I be doing that? I don't know. I'm gonna do this for now. And then I may switch it when I need some more space, because 5 cards is not much. So we got the Ten of Cups, which is about family or a love legacy, perhaps, or soul tribe, soul group, you know, extended family, perhaps friends that feel like family, or those that are kind of on the same page energetically in some way. They may not be actual family, but they share some common creative consciousness of sorts, right? So then we got the Eight of Cups coming back out, well, finally coming out all the way. So that's definitely assured that somebody has walked away from something. Perhaps walked away from some soul group that has been dismantled. So in that case, they wouldn't really have a choice but to walk away, would they? But then here's the High Priestess, which signifies like divine alignment, also secrets. And it's up under this this Ten of Cups. So that maybe there were some secrets about this family or collective of sorts, whatever it was. And then the Eight of Wands is about, it could even be like, it could be communication, but it could also be like, what I'm feeling is that some type of energetic force, like aggressive force, maybe even attack. And then here's this collaborative effort here. So what the heck is this? Spirit, give me some, cut me a break here. What's going on? The High Priestess up in the midst of it is definitely interesting, because something is either being exposed or was exposed about this family or partnership that maybe presents itself to be harmonious and peaceful. It's like it's going backwards to me. Because if I'm considering that as I originally said, the Knight of Wands is the one who perhaps blew up this tower. This is the attack here. And there was something being planned under the surface. Like something was being planned behind the scenes. Plotted, I hear, more than planned. For perhaps some material interest. Interest? This is almost giving me bank vibes too. Like an old bank. Delayed resources with the Page of Pentacles. Okay, hold on now. So some family unit or some type of collective, creative collective, let's say, had intentions on receiving some investment or return on some investment. It was delayed with the Knight of Wands. With the Knight of Pentacles. Remember I said it's the slowest moving knight in the deck. But the delay is what ultimately caused the destruction. Like, the anticipation was for it to be here at this Ten of Cups. Whatever it was, whatever was being plotted on, whatever, this is like the bank clerk or the executive of the branch or some type of account executive talking to this couple, and they're shining a light on some documents. So it was like there was some plan to, what's that? First of all, okay, Spirit. Like, there's that. Damn, like, whew. So it's the end of this deal, whatever it was, it came to a screeching, crashing, burning halt. Because it wasn't, it wasn't something upright, is ultimately why it's been put to an end or put to death. Or, I'm even hearing insurance policy connected with these documents, or will, or something connected to this death card is what was intended to bring. Okay, and there's the Tower too. So there was some impending demise or destruction, a contract. I'm getting all types of downloads now. Like something dark was being planned here on account of someone's demise, the end of someone, or in the event that someone, or that would end someone, that would cause a grave ending or something, very unfavorable to occur, and what should be or could be a happily ever after, or at least a happy ending. Someone being spiritually and sensationally satisfied in their own right, in their own regard. There's a secret here, and the secret perhaps was just what was uncovered by way of my own hands, seeing the death. I didn't know what that was, but the card slipped and I felt compelled to look at it. The death and the devil is the secret energy that was being planned on here to ultimately blow up this tower and cause destruction for those who, in two ways, these two cards speak to me now, to bring a happily ever after to those that were plotting and planning here in this Three of Pentacles, like I said, some material return, and to also bring demise to those who were set to be on the poor end of this deal. Literally the poor end, like maybe extortion of this couple, or just some type of energetic binding, perhaps even a contract on the demise of this couple that's chained here in the devil energy, to put an end to some happy ending and ultimately trade places. That's what I'm hearing. They were trying to exchange fate with someone who has that has more of a promising future and legacy with their karma, because they've been doing some underground, underhanded stuff for a while now, and perhaps it's been something that's been working for them in some regard to kind of just absorb the dharma or good luck, more or less, the good fortune, there it is, the good fortune of others, and exchange it for some demise, or at some detrimental cost to whomever they target. This is a real shitty couple here. And everything that they've been doing is finally catching up with them. The secret is out, which is why the High Priestess is here. They've been exposed. Maybe this deal is like a sting. That's what I'm getting, because it's like kind of dark, with the they thinking that they about to go make a withdrawal or present some documents to whomever this executive is, but this light is like maybe it's like a camera that's watching this whole thing go down. So they think they about to come up and hit the lick, but ultimately Who is this though? This Eight of Cups. Either they're going to have to walk away, but I don't think they're walking away no damn where. There's somebody else that's involved in this. Could be by way of that Knight of Wands. And then we had the Knight of Pentacles that's called, it's like somebody traded places. Maybe perhaps this guy isn't even who they usually deal with, or who because there's like the scheme is all three, you know what I mean? So it's like this couple probably has some ends with some type of financial institution, like somebody in their pocket, more or less, that they pay off to do certain things, move certain numbers and documents around, and do things that are not legal for the most part for some return for his services. And he either has already gotten caught up, or he has changed, like, yeah, that's the change from that, oh shoot, here comes the trash truck. I thought we were good today. Changing identities with that Knight of Wands, who's all for the BS, right? That's the one that's fierce, that's going to go for it. He's ambitious, over ambitious. Like I said, you never know. That's what I said. You never know what you're getting from the Knight of Wands, particularly because, and the Knight of Swords also, but the Knight of Wands particularly because he's driven by his own ambitions and in the lowest vibration by his own lust. So they probably hooked up with somebody that could be manipulated, or at least, what do you call it? Like lured into this plot and plan for the purposes, of course, of some financial return, or whatever the exchange was. It was his own sensational gratification that compelled him to connect with this, be in cahoots with whatever this plot and plan was, right? But somewhere within all of this, you know, foolishness, for lack of a better word, those energies flip-flop. Either he flip-flopped and was ultimately coerced to be in favor of whatever this operation, working with whatever this operation is, to ultimately, you know, catch these guys in the act, trying to make this withdrawal or deposit or exchange or change, whatever it was the executive, or is or will be the executive that is instrumental in executing this sting, because he's the middleman. So either that transition from it being the Knight of Wands to the Knight of Pentacles, who is much more dependable, as I said, right? He's much more upright, hardworking, stable. You can kind of count on him more than anyone else. It might be a small pentacle, so maybe he made a small deal in exchange for his cooperation, perhaps, or a deal in exchange for some lesser penalty, you know, or he got swept out of the picture altogether, and he's been exchanged for some new executive. But I have the feeling that would kind of throw this operation off balance for this impending attack. You know, it's like some secret ambush or secret sting that's fitting to happen here with this Eight of Wands. Like they're just waiting. Somebody sitting in the truck somewhere listening, you know, on their devices and the camera. He has the camera on this person and he's watching them present these, like all the evidence is here. You know what I mean? Like if this hasn't happened yet, then it is to come, that, you know, this operation is in full swing, and this is the energy swooping in to kind of like seize, you know, the perpetrators in the act. So I'm feeling like in order for it to go well, he would have had to been turned, more or less. That whomever this executive is, who started out, you know, he had much to gain from it, so that's why he started out as the Knight of Wands. But now he's worried more about his own security and stability as the Nine of Pentacles, literally securing his own vitality and his own freedom, or whatever is, you know, to be saved of it, for being in, you know, in cahoots in the first place. But there's still more for him at stake to work against this couple than it is for him to continue. Like, if he's already caught up in the implication and they know enough to even arm him to be like this decoy, then the jig is up pretty much. So there's really not much more for him to gain by being a part of this. Like, the tower has that's what it is. The tower has already fallen, but these two are the last to know, because they're still thinking, you know, that everything is business as usual, when in actuality it's all crumbling down, because all the authorities already know, and things have already been put in place secretly, unbeknownst to them, to apprehend the suspects. Wow. And there's the moon card. Wow. Astounding. Oh, there's jail. Definitely anxiety. Maybe that's old boy. Yeah, and this is them walking blindly into this thing. They're walking in that direction. You know, if I had it up here, they'd literally be walking right into it. And this is the offer or the deal that was made with this executive with the Page of Pentacles. This is, I mean, this could have already happened for sure in some regard, in some way, shape, or form. I mean, things like this happen every day, right? But I mean, in terms of how it perhaps resonates for you watching, it could have already happened. And here's the anxiety here of someone that's literally somewhere in lockup or in the county on that hard cot, head in hand, trying to figure out where it all went wrong. Well, it all went wrong from the very beginning of you doing demonic stuff, sir. That's where it all went wrong. And trusting people beyond their own, trusting people to be loyal to some cause beyond their own greed. You know, people were only as much engaged in this operation as it yielded some return for them. Otherwise, you know, where there is no loyalty, because there is no loyalty among thieves, literally, with the fool walking away from this Page of Pentacles. This is immature energy and literally, in this case, foolish behavior. All right, so I don't know. It's like the Page of Pentacles is giving me that there was they got him in, there was some message that was sent to these individuals as to them needing to come in for a signature. Like, maybe usually they work their exchanges at a distance or virtually in some regard. I don't know why I'm picking that up, but I'm hearing it now, that there's some virtual exchange for this, you know, for whatever this operation is. But they got them to actually show up in the flesh by saying that there was something they needed to take a look at, or some paperwork. This is like him examining something again, like in that Three of Pentacles picture. And the Four of Pentacles, yeah, is like holding on to resources, because they're so greedy, so materially focused and tunnel visioned, that they didn't even perceive that there could be something actually funny about the sudden need for them to be present at this institution or in this place, when that's not necessarily been the case before, you know. So there's something funny, like something shifted, you know, suddenly. But instead of them taking, you know, seeing the handwriting on the wall, they actually took the bait, literally. Like, it's almost like a fishing rod he has on his arm, because they'd be damned to lose their financial investment, you know, before they take the risk to just, and they had trusted this guy up until this point, so why would anything be any different now? After all, he has a great stake in this investment as well, right? But not when it's already crumbling down, he doesn't. And then this High Priestess is here, like, I don't know. I'm gonna get some more cards. Let's see what else is under this High Priestess, because this could actually be the feminine partner. She got on blue, and this one has on blue here in this tower, where she could have been the one to really set the scandal up, or to blow the whistle in some regard. What's that? Yep. Oh my goodness. And that now this is actually a masculine, but I always see it as a feminine. It just looks feminine to me. You know, so for all intents and purposes, let me get one more, but no, it's a feminine. She set this up so that she could get off scot-free. But how was she thinking she was getting off scot-free? This came up before, though, when I had something similar to a story like this, that she could have positioned herself, the feminine in this couple, right, could have positioned herself to cut a deal but before she did that, though, she either transferred funds in her name or hid them away somewhere. Like, see how this is almost like a secret garden? She hid a stash or put a stash to the side. At least she thought she did. Well, who knows? We'll see the rest. But in her mind, this is a victory for her regardless, because if the whole operation goes down, she has been in cooperation as the Queen of Swords, giving up the tape, giving up the information, the secret sauce in the midst of all of this. She's been in cooperation enough that her time, at least from her perception now, because we know the justice system can be tricky. But from her time, from her perspective, she's in a position to get off a bit more scot-free because she's the one that's been ultimately giving up the information and, you know, blowing the whistle from the inside out. And she already put her stash to the side, so whatever gets swept, literally, we down to a page of pentacles here, whatever gets swept in the seizure of assets or frozen or, you know, whatever the repercussions are after this thing goes down, she still feels like she's in a leg up position with whatever she stashed to the side. So you see, this is like conflict, chaos, confusion that she's leaving behind. She feels like she literally has a leg up on the competition or the accomplices in this situation, so much so that even if she does get caught up in the sweep, she may get a couple years or so, maybe, you know, or a year or whatever she's, you know, it could be delusional for all we know, honestly, but in her mind, it won't be to her total demise, or at least, you know, best case scenario, she'll have resources set aside to be able to defend her case, you know what I mean? With this Queen of Swords here, definitely giving Libra vibes, you know, justice, all that good stuff. Let's see, what else? What she thinks she walking into? Or what is she walking into? For real, for real. Let's see. She thinks, yeah, she thinks she's got this all figured out. She's thought of everything, every possibility. But what I'm seeing is that she's not escaping karma either. This is literally the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, she thinks she's got the fortunes tied up, locked down in the bag, and he's going to be the one more or less to take the fall. Yeah, she just feels like in the Queen of Cups, it's like intuitive energy, emotional intuition. You know, she feels like she's conjured enough to sustain her liberty, at least better than the rest of them. But I get the sense that this is all a facade, you know, that she's all, let me see, because nobody escapes karma. And she may be, sometimes with this Four of Wands, I see it as like a mirage. You know, like she may have been used in this operation for exactly what was needed in order to bring it down, and perhaps even made or even granted certain certain promises or certain concessions, right? But it's something about this Four of Wands where she thinks all is stable, or just when she does think all is stable and she's got the victory and all this, she's safe and secure behind these walls, is perhaps when spiritual justice will sweep in. So if it's like where the law of the land don't get you, the law of the spirit never misses. And that's what this energy is here. This Wheel of Fortune, this is like justified spiritual karma that cannot be escaped. What goes up must come down. What you give is what you get. Cause and effect type of, and even magnified so with the Wheel of Fortune, because that's Jupiter energy, which magnifies everything that it touches. So it's like everything that she thinks that she perhaps has gained, this is what I'm sensing, that she stands to gain from turning on, you know, this whole operation, even though she was very much so a part of it, if not the centric force in it with the High Priestess here. She is going to actually be captive of, you know, all these responses. I'm getting a house, like somebody's prisoner in the house, maybe it's house arrest even, you know, that all the things that she was looking to hold on to are ultimately what are going to become her captivity, you know. So holding on to this money is going to be more of a burden. Like it'll seem like a win, but it'll be more of a burden than anything, because then she has to worry about securing it, hiding it, concealing it, keeping it from people that ultimately are going to want to give her back her karma for what she did in this situation. And as I said, whatever house or establishment has been created from all of this is going to be more of a burden than a blessing to her. It literally is going to be a prison. It's going to be a living prison cell if she doesn't actually go to jail too. Yeah, like that King of Pentacles is her looking to be, you know, looking forward to being the executor of this estate. Like she's really, maybe this, whatever it was that was obtained by the two of them, it's like she has the mindset that she's about to take over it all. So maybe she really completely absolved herself in some way, shape, or form of any guilt, or at least by way of the legal perspective in some regard, to put her in a position to truly secure liberty in some fantastical way. And she would be the benefactor, or I should say the beneficiary, or the what do you call it? Like the next of kin or whatever. Oh God forbid, because we did have the death card, right? We had the death, and what was the other one? The devil card. Damn, it could even have been a setup for a demise entirely. Like, and her knowing that his demise will ultimately bring her fortune. If she could eliminate him, she could assume all the assets, whatever's left. If my whole sting operation is wrong and it's not actually a legal sting, then that was some undercover, ooh, shit, now I hear something different. That was her aligning with, it could be either one, but this is another possibility, right? Aligning with the so-called executive right to change, to alter those documents, or change a will, perhaps change some inheritance documents, you know, having that inside, that inside, what do you call it? I don't know, that inside connection, right? To change the documents because she knew that there was an impending demise of her partner, right? And making herself the beneficiary of whatever the assets in his wake might be. So that could be another aspect of it, that maybe, and maybe that it was it in some regard, and they went in to do this change, or she went in to do this change. But I can't see why he would go in to make that type of change on his own documents, like the two of them together. I don't know. That's something that doesn't make any sense, but it could be the presentation of the two of them as a couple, but really there being, as I said, with this high priestess energy, some secret plan on the back end, even perhaps between the executive. Maybe they both have a deal with the executive in the forefront, but she cut a side deal with the financial executive to transfer the assets into her name, or the documentation to be forged in some way to reflect her as the beneficiary, in case all goes to shit and he actually is, completely expired in one way, shape, or form. Which there's definitely some impending possibility of that with the death card here. But it would put her in a position to collect the jackpot, to have the house, to have the bank account, to have the businesses, the establishments, whatever it is that was created in both of their names, or maybe even just in his, by God, like she's looking to take it all. Pretty much. And that's why that King of Pentacles was under the deck, because she's literally looking to completely consume and assume all of his wealth for herself, being the star, but ultimately leaving him in complete despair, if not actually behind bars, which, came up already. So let's see. There's a Justice card. Damn, now I kind of want to think back on which one that can be, because, well, let's see. Let me get about 3 more cards. Let's see where this ends. Page of Pentacles. Okay, well, now that's her in bondage, potentially behind bars. I'm sorry, Page of Cups. Knight of Cups. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Knight of Cups, this is another offer of an emotional essence. Oftentimes with the Knight of Cups, it could be emotional manipulation. It looks like love, seems like love, but is it really, type of thing. It could be a finesse, but here's the Eight of Swords, which could mean that she's blinded to, a finesse. Like I said, I'm gonna get 2 more to see, but it could be her finessing herself, her thinking that, no, because it can't be, I don't know. It could be that, like, her thinking that she had it all figured out in this Queen of Cups, but ultimately coming down to it being a Knight of Cups, like I said, literally finessing herself into more burden than blessing in the end. And her being stuck, maybe there is more debt than what was known. There's that she didn't know about. Some, you assume, like, say these people are married, you assume the debt of your spouse. Shoot. Dead or alive, quite honestly. So maybe there's more, like I said, there's more. Maybe she gets the house but realizes it's underwater. Maybe she gets the businesses but realizes that they're all in the red. Maybe the bank accounts ain't counting like she thought they were, and perhaps she may have to end up paying restitution, or some restitution or something might have to get paid out of those accounts that would ultimately deplete her plot and plan down to this Knight of Cups energy, or even down to this Page of Pentacles, where she doesn't ultimately have as much as she anticipated to have out of the deal. She actually has more of the debt than she has the wealth. That would be funny as hell. And it's put her in a bounded state of energy where she could release herself from that, but it's like mentally, her mind, she has a mental impairment or block You know what I mean? With this sword energy, this is like a mental, a state of mind that she's like kind of stuck in. You know, like it's hard for her to, and then here he is again. That's the 8 to the 9. Yeah, so it's like how she thought she was leaving him high and dry. She more or less is almost just about in the same state, except for maybe he's in jail and she's not. That could be the only difference here. That he's actually, if he's not long gone altogether or on his way out, but he's actually, oh geez, I just heard that she, for whatever reason, has some intention for him to be, if he does go to jail, she has some intention, or at least some idealism of him passing in jail. Like he's not going to be able to make it through that circumstance, and then that would be a way that, but his assets should already be transferred at that point. You shouldn't, I don't think you can lay claim to much once you go to jail, especially if it's been illegal, right? So I don't know about that. And like I said, this is all delusional. Case in point here with this 8 of Swords, she thinks she got it all planned out, all mapped out. The victory's already won in her mind. But I don't think she is as insightful as she considers herself to be. Mainly because her motivation is money and greed. When you have that tunnel vision, you're going to always miss the mark in some regard. It's just no way around it. And so this is him perhaps, you know, especially it being dark, it's like he's actually in captivity, perhaps, in incarceration. This is her perhaps free to move about the planet, but not very free at all, because she has all these burdens that she has to bear and account for on the outside. All right, so let's see, 2 more and we out of here. What's that? 2 more. And this is, oh my God. Yep. And this is trying to win at all costs and ultimately defeating your damn self. Perhaps defeating both of them because, and look, he's back out here. Yep. And then who else? Peeking under here. I see it. I can't not see it. Wow. This is just karma for the 2 of them. That's what it comes down to. It's karmic for the 2 of them, because they've been finessing others and finessing each other probably for as long as they've been in connection with each other, and they've been bound to this relentless pursuit of prosperity and prestige and fame and fortune, perhaps, because we did have the Star card come out, some type of accolades and establishment of sorts, you know, that wasn't authentic because it wasn't motivated by pure means, and it wasn't sustainable by pure, you know, by pure intentions. So it was it was doomed before it started, quite honestly, with the Tower being the leading card, because it wasn't done in the highest vibration. It was to win at all costs, to be, you know, the absolute victor, no matter the casualties, no matter the consequences. And I don't think I think they all ultimately both outsmarted each other, thinking that there could never be a fatal consequence to the operation, meaning the actual operation. But it appears to me that if it's not just the operation that has come to a death or a screeching halt, somebody could actually be, you know, maybe somebody might be doing a life sentence or damn near, because maybe perhaps it is correct that somebody might not make it out of incarceration alive, or at least not whole and complete mentally. So, you know, you can come out alive, but the system can do a number on the best of them. So 2 people that still have demonic attachments that have not healed internally, that literally are the host for some diabolical energy, shoot, you might not stand a chance on the inside, where that is for sure the devil's playground. It ain't, I don't care what facility, where it's at, who's the warden, who are the guards, who goes in, who comes out. That is no place to be. And then not to mention, if we're talking about spiritual incarceration, spiritual prison, that's just as bad, if not worse, to literally be free in the body, but a captive of your mind, completely disconnected from your spirit. That's, in this day and age, that is more of, that's more of a detriment to your survival than perhaps you actually being on the inside. Because at least on the inside, everything is regulated, and contained, more or less. You just got to stay alive if you can. But on the outside, that type of energy still in this celestial climate will ultimately be your demise. Somebody that only knows how to get it the dark way, but those tactics are done. They're blown up from the top down and from the bottom up. So you don't know any other way to live life but through treachery and deception, which is only ultimately, it's not going to grow what you have. It's only going to deplete whatever has been left to hold on to. Not to mention, there's virtually no hope to acquire more, and certainly not as much as she had, which is what it's like a drug, you know what I mean, to get back to that status of wealth by way of the King of Pentacles, to be trying to get back to that place with all your might, doing the same things that got you there before with the Devil card. It's not going to work that way anymore. First of all, there might actually be physical eyes on her if she did in fact blow up some operation. She'll never be able to move like she did before. She's burnt every bridge in her company, so it's not like she'll have to become a completely different person to start some new operation. And like I said, the stakes are not set up to win at all costs that way. Like it's going to be laid to rest before it even begins. It's just not the time for it anymore. So to ultimately be laid to rest and have to fall on your own sword of truth, like face the reality of who you are, it's like having to start really back at one with the Fool card, 0 as a matter of fact, with probably very little resource to help you along. And only the mentality by way of the 8 of Swords to just rob, kill, steal, and destroy, which is a dead end. So it's like, what do you do in that energy? Probably doing a lot of dark stuff by way of, being a detriment to your own self, i.e. perhaps selling your body, or or just doing strange things for change just to survive, or to worse, to self-medicate or overindulge in ways to kind of soothe that lack of sensational satisfaction, because every other way but truth and honor is a dead end. Like if you're not willing to answer to the calling of your highest self and truly walking upright and doing things, living an honest life, to put it simply, there's really not much of a pathway for anything else that leads to anything productive. It all leads to the same place, destruction. And more so self-destruction. Self-destruction, you're headed for self-destruction. I'm gonna post that on the community tab, because that's where a person in this mindset is headed, where they're looking to destroy and win at all costs against others. They ultimately are ending up destroying themselves. That's the only road that this mindset leads down. So the only option is to have a completely new mindset, to really truly be renewed and transformed in the mind. What is that scripture? Be ye be so mad at scriptures. I be knowing these scriptures, and then when I'm here, it's like a day. I think it's be renewed by the transform. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up because I got my other phone right here. You just give me 1 second while you look at this King of Pentacles and idealize it as actually you living your best life. Hold on 1 second. I got it. Give me a second. I don't usually have my other phone in here. Be ye transformed. Is that it? Yeah, that's Romans 12:2. Now I like the KJV version, but do not conform to the pattern of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and prove what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Yeah, so I mean, the rest of the world, of course, it does almost seem, especially in this past 10, 12 years and beyond, let's be honest, but it's been most intense in the past few years to the last decade, where it seemed like the worst of people were winning the most, so it is easy to get swept into that mindset and say, well, hell, if it's available to me, then I'm going to do it. If it's it's that low-hanging fruit. If it's here for the taking and ain't nobody else going to do it, it might as well be me, or it'll be somebody else. You know what I mean? That mindset is easy to get swept into that easy money type of frequency, but it certainly comes at a great cost to your spirit and to your soul in the end. No matter how much money you've gained, no matter how much popularity, notoriety, accolades, accomplishments, houses, cars, dividends, investments, it will always come down to the value on your spirit and what you were willing to exchange for it. So let's just look at what's on the bottom here. Be not conformed to the world. That's wild. And what's she looking at but this pentacle over here in this regard? Because we know the world is the end of an old cycle, the beginning of a new one. And that's more or less what I've been saying. It's like that energy doesn't produce anymore. It's not as productive or prosperous as it seemed to be. To be in the energy of everyone's doing it, why not me? Usually did gain a great material reward, a financial return for your sacrifice of your spirit. But one thing about it with the world card is this is signifying the end of that. She's stepping out of that arena, literally, that chaos, confusion, and competition, and moving into some new cycle of existence, a new experience of life. Now, if the feminine can see the value of that transformation and that transition, then certainly she has a great hope ahead of her. But to still be looking back at what you used to do and how much you used to make and how easy the money used to be and all the bags and clothes and houses and cars you were able to buy, that's the wrong perspective. And it's all to go back into that energy, as I've said over and over again, is just ultimately leading to destruction. There's no light on that path. Now it doesn't mean that in this new world of order, and truth and light, that there can't be luxury, because there should be, and there absolutely will be and is. But it's still a matter of, first of all, what you were willing to sow before this cosmic change to get what you had, as to what determines that karma here with your actual fortune. Like what side of the wheel you end up on. Were you willing to sell your spirit and your soul for a couple pennies on the dollar in the end of it, for a house on the hills, perhaps? Then you might find yourself on the unfavorable end of this evolution. But if you were willing to be in gratitude and grace with whatever you had and make the best and the most of it, and still maintain a proper perspective and expectation for the entirety of your vision to come to life, then the whole of your dreams to be made manifest and come true. You know, however fantastical it may have been, that you still held the highest regard for it in your heart. There was nothing wrong with that. You were in absolute alignment, divine alignment, as a matter of fact, to believe that any day now, any day, it was going to be made manifest into your very hand. The spirit essence of your visions and hopes and dreams becoming matter in the flesh in a very measurable and tangible way. And it is so. And it is so. And so it is. There's hope for those that may be willing to stick out the hard way, you know, whether it be incarceration in spirit or in truth, or just an atonement for their missteps. You know, I'm definitely not speaking hopelessness to anyone, because as I say all the time, if you still have breath in your body, then there's still hope in some regard for your redemption or your transformation or transmutation of where you've been, you know, to really ultimately transcend that lower vibration. But the spirit knows, though, if you're really willing to do so. And you may not feel able. It may seem like a hard, daunting task to take on, but if you're willing, the spirit reads the heart and knows that if you have the heart to truly do it, no matter what it takes, no matter what the loss or limitation, more or less, it will support you along the way as best that it is justified at this point to do so. It might not be with all the support we've had in the past decade or so, because there was a lot of spiritual support and influence outside of ourselves that we had to really hold on to. It, although it seemed very grim and dim, it was there. But how you utilized it, how you accessed it and tapped into it was ultimately the test. You could have tapped into that power and that spiritual assistance for diabolical reasons and gained a great deal materially, or you could have tapped into it spiritually and gained immeasurably by way of healing and wholeness and again ascension and transcendence from what has been a very tumultuous and sometimes, you know, traumatic life experience in the realm. But now here is heaven on earth, available to all that are willing to perceive it to be so. And that perception definitely compels some point of action, you know, that gets to be taken to make yourself truly the benefactor, the honest, justifiable benefactor of the harvest of perhaps eternal life, something that can't even be measurable by bank account. All right, something far more invaluable than anything that you can lay your hands on in this earth. All right, so that's it for today. Hope you have a wonderful day. It's already Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, so prosperous end of the week to you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Until then, peace.